Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is another installment of Get Cracking on Christmas cards. This time I am creating a Christmas box card. I am combining Mama Elephant and my favorite things to create this adorable box. Now the stamp set that I'm using today is You've Got Mail. I used it in the past already on some darker cardstock like craft cardstock. Today I am going to color them all on white paper, and I will use a bit of that craft cardstock again, but to create my box this time. So I'm going to use tons of brown tones. I decided to have pink as my colorful tone here on this card, and also to reuse that in my pattern paper on the box later on. Now, as I said, first of all, I'm going to color all of the images from the You've Got Mail. I actually stamped out a bunch of them. I didn't know whether I was going to use them all, but I must admit that lately I have been seeing tons of box cards online, and I have been enjoying them when they're really filled. You can go clean and simple even with a box card, but today I'm really going to use a ton of images. I'm going to fill it up completely. So yeah, as I said, tons of brown colors. I love coloring my critters with brown combinations. If you want to revisit combinations later on, definitely check out my blog post. There I have everything listed for the bunny, for the mouse, for the bear, and so on. So I'm coloring from darkest to lightest, as you can see here. For the shadowing, I sort of decided to see how everyone was facing and to have like the light source in everyone's faces so that they are really lined up. So here for this stack of cuties, I decided to do the shadowing on the left side, and that way I have the lightest area right where their face is and mimic and all those things. So you're going to see again, as always, quite a ton of combinations that I use all the time. They are coming back every time again and again because they work. It might be that you have another combination like that where you just build from. For me, that's really the E33 marker that is in almost every combination. I am going from E33 to the E50s for the light browns. I'm going from E33 to the E57, E59 for the darker browns. I really love using this E33. It works with everything, according to me at least. So I'm building up the coloring here, and then later on I'm creating a box. I don't think that I made a Christmas box yet for the Get Cracking on Christmas, so I was hoping to sort of cover each sort of card a tiny bit throughout this Get Cracking on Christmas, which is each third Thursday of the month. It's organized by Jenn Shurkus. You probably know her. She's incredible and also super sweet. She's going live every time on YouTube. It depends a bit. Most of the time she's trying to do it the days itself, but there is a ton of info on Instagram there and on her blog post as well about everything. The whole Get Cracking on Christmas idea. It's all about inspiring each other, but also get started on those Christmas cards ahead of time. And I don't know about you, because I started in the beginning, and I know that a lot of people amongst you were like, what? In January, February, it's way too early. Also, I get it in the summer that you want to enjoy those warm temperatures outside, and you don't want to start on any snow kind of cards maybe. I completely get that. For me, it was really a way to already get started because I'm always liking Christmas cards. I am still liking Christmas cards, a ton of them actually. As I said in the past, I also get my parents that come over, and then they are like, well, I want 30 Christmas cards, and all of a sudden I have none for myself. But yeah, that's my life. So I am nearing December, as are you. It's now October. Last month I didn't got the time to prep something for the Get Cracking on Christmas, and I was really bummed about it. But it's all about having fun, so if you don't have the time, there is no stress involved with this. If you create a Christmas card, definitely use the hashtag #GetCrackingOnChristmas, and then we can all see your creations and get inspired by each other. But last month I didn't got to it, and I'm like feeling the pressure a tiny bit, and I don't know about you. Are you kind of feeling the pressure right now to really get going or to invest more time in Christmas cards? Because I know that what I do for my job, my daily job, is there is like a rush period, and it's gonna start actually throughout November, but there are also a few holidays here, so I have a few longer weekends, and I hope to really get tons of Christmas cards ready and to share it with you, inspire as much as possible still before it's December. But I know that afterwards, after those weekends, I know that the rush is there on the job, and I might have to work in weekends to get everything done. So I really need to up the pace a bit. And of course, if you like a design that you created previously, you can always recreate it. You can do exactly the same, because if you loved it then, why not now? Or you can change a few colors, change a few critters. Maybe you created a cast card, but you want to make a more scene kind of card, and you get inspired by your cast card. Everything actually is possible. So maybe this year I need to revisit some card ideas that I made. Maybe I can case a card that I made previously. But I don't know. I don't know yet. It could help me with saving a bit of time, not having to think about the whole design, because I already did it in the past. But in case you're like lacking time, or you think you're going to lack time, maybe you have a clean and simple card previously made that you can easily recreate. I have made a few cards at the same moment. Christmas cards. I still have to edit and create a blog post and such. It was with the My Favorite Things love, dear love. I have no clue, but I created them actually when I got the stamps from the release, but it's just been stuck on my desk, the cards. I still need to take pictures and all. But there I have a video where I will share 3 cards. Well, actually it's one that I will share, and then I will quickly show you how easily it can be to just by switching a bit on the design, you can really make simple and tons of cards, tons of simple cards. But I still need to do all of that, the editing and stuff. I promise, I will get there. I also got a card on past weekend, also still in the editing phase and such, but also Christmas, a really clean one. You can use stencils, as you know, you can tear your paper, as you know, so really try to figure out ways to maybe just have a bit of fun with what you already had. I think there is a power in it. I think if you see a card that you created and you see more ways to create with that design, I think you got a really strong design going on. Okay, enough talking about that. As I said, I promise to get more videos up with tons of Christmas cards, because I want to inspire still enough, and I have a few prepped. Well, I have a few cards made. I just need to prep it to share it. And while I was blabbing away, I just have this adorable bunny still to color. Now, I first didn't know what I was going to do, and then I thought, well, I can do a really light bunny, I can do the same colors as the other bunny, or I just give it a light wash and then I add a few dots. And I actually barely do that on critters. I don't know why. Maybe it's because, well, first of all, I'm a bunny lover. I am a sucker for bunnies. I want a few here at my house because one wouldn't be happy. I want 2, 3, 4. I don't care. But I remember, well, I told the boyfriend then, and now the man, that I wanted to have bunnies as pets, and the ones that are really easygoing with humans that are really raised in a nest where there is tons of love given by humans as well before taking it in-house. I don't want a shy bunny. I want one that is coming on the couch with me, that I can hug and such. So in the past we were in a tiny apartment, and I know if you have a tiny place, we try to avoid having pets here, or at least my husband and I have the same opinion of that. We want to give the animal that we have the space that it needs, and if we can, more even. So we said, well, if we get a house and there is enough space, then we can get a pet. And now we are in a house and I still don't have a pet, so I think I will go and complain a tiny bit after the voiceover here. But I always dreamed of having pets in one color, or just have like gray with 10 white, a few white things, but not really spotted animals. So maybe that's why I barely do that. That can be. Again, color combinations on my blog post if you want to revisit. Now for the box, I use my favorite things products that I have. It's the Outside the Box Level Up and the Outside the Box Low Profile add-on. I cut them out of craft cardstock, and I also cut a few elements out of pattern paper. This pattern paper is from Fawn. It is the Let It Shine Petite paper pad. And I just love this pink. I thought it was working really well with the pink that I used on the coloring. And then the craft cardstock, as you might see, I have these two bows twice. Why do I do that? Or arches, I don't know. I do that because I prefer having the back of my card also finished more. And well, with the die cutting, it can be that your plates are a bit pressed in your paper. At least it's the case for me. So I tend to every time add an extra layer in the back so that everything is finished. Also with this box, you can also see, well, at a certain point you need to add that arch to the low profile, and then you will also see that band going through. If you add a second panel on top, you will cover that all, and that's why I actually do this. So it's always handy if you have die cut all of the elements, so that's why I did that before continuing with the recording here. I made sure to have two inserts. I most of the time prep two. You don't need to use two, one can be enough as well. You can add more than two even if you want to, depending on what your design is going to be. Now you can also create hills on these inserts. I am not going to do that. Maybe that's still a bit of a clean and simple way to do the box. But I promise in the future I will also create one more scene-like. It has been a while, I think. So here with the pattern paper, I didn't need to worry about creating a scene. You can still also with pattern paper, but I didn't do that. And then for, well, to adhere everything to my box, I am always using Scor Tape. Why? Because I find that more sturdy than the others. You have the adhesive roller, really great, but this one is way stronger, or at least what I have, this one is way stronger. And then also liquid glue is an option, but that takes some time to dry, so I prefer to use that really strong Scor Tape and then adhere everything with that. So here I am adhering everything together, and when you fold your box closed, you can actually do that all at once. So I'm just making sure here that everything is aligned straight. Sometimes it can be a bit wonky if you don't pay attention. And then I'm closing up that box. Now the only thing left to do is to add that tiny flap, but as you can see here, it was kind of overlapping with the other one, so I had to just tear that a tiny bit loose, but everything worked out fine. So here we have the base of our box ready. We have to assemble it still, which is a really fun part when we are adding all of the critters. But as you can see here, that band that is coming, well, that is passing over that arch, I prefer not seeing that, so I'm just going to cover that up with an extra panel. When I am writing down my well, whatever I want to write to the recipient, I most of the time cut out the smallest arch again, out of white paper, pattern paper, anything can go, and then I write on that, and then I adhere that on top of this arch that I'm now going to adhere, so that I can easily write things down, and then I can just make sure to adhere it instead of having a wonky kind of surface where I might be pressing too hard with my pen. So that can be helpful as well. Now for the sentiment, I took the Falala stamp set from Mama Elephant. I still have to use these adorable critters. It's the plan to use them. But be patient with me. So here I'm using this adorable sentiment. I'm stamping it out on the pattern paper. You can also cut this banner out of white cardstock and add it on that. And then I'm going to add everything to this box. For this I am using liquid glue because that can help me position it correctly in the center of this front kind of panel kind of thingy of the box. And then we have to play with critters. You can put critters higher than the arch because the arch is rounded. Just pay attention to it when you're folding it close, that it is not higher than the highest point of the arch. That's just so that it can still fit in your envelope, except when you create your own envelopes, maybe you can make a bigger one if you go really outside the box, literally. But here I was just making sure to add it and then check it, and it was just matching with that highest point. Something that I realized here, what could be really handy, was to die cut the image again without stamping it out, and just make sure to add it to the back of that colored image that you have, just to make it a bit more sturdy. This way you have your image also well, really around that insert from the box. You have one that is in front, and then the one that you add on the back is coming in the back of that insert. So I did that just to make it a bit sturdy, because this big image was really high up, and so it was bendable, you know. So that's why I did that. You don't need to, and I actually think I never did this in the past, but I'm really glad that I did. It made it really sturdy and I like it. Again, if you have tiny images like these envelopes, it's not really necessary, I think. For that big one I was really happy. Also, if you would add that mailbox in front, it's even, well, it's bendable because it's high. It's quite a big or large image, and then it's also, there is that really small area, so I just added it on the back. But if you would add it a bit more in front, it's delicate, so maybe a second layer there could be really useful. So I decided to add those envelopes that I softly colored in a bit everywhere to, well, fill up the card a bit. And then later on I will also add some stickles to everything. Adding stickles might have been better to do it ahead of time, let it dry, and then add all of the images. But in the end it worked out fine, and I'm happy that I gave a bit of glitter to each of the envelopes, or almost every envelope. But yeah. I don't know about you, but whenever I create a box, and I don't do it often, but I really love this outside the box level up die for my favorite things. Whenever I create a box, I try to have as much images ready to go on the box, and if I don't need them, I don't need them, but I don't want to start coloring afterwards. And there is quite a lot of area to play with images when you're creating a box. So I'm almost there. I'm also using reverse tweezers to help me from time to time to really adhere everything really well. It can be a handy tool. Just to create box cards, I often consider buying a second one to help me. That way I can add 2 images simultaneously and keep them in place. So here, as I said, I'm using the Stickles. Just keep in mind, here I press it down to see, but then I touch the Stickles. So just keep in mind that You don't want to lay it flat immediately when you added anything at this stage. So I'm almost done. I really love how this card came out. Well, this box card. I cannot wait to give this to someone. I also love the pinks. I don't think, well, this year I have like this Christmas card vibe where I'm most of the time using that deep red, soft dark green, and this card is really bright and sweet, and I'm really glad that I tried to use a pink instead of a red this time. So that is my box card for today. Don't forget to get cracking on Christmas along with us on social media. Have fun creating your Christmas cards. I hope that I could inspire you today with my box card. If you have any questions, you can always leave them down in the comments. I will get to you as quick as possible. I still have to catch up on well, quite a lot of comments. I'm sorry for that, but I truly appreciate you all being here, taking the time to watch this video. I wish you all an incredible day, and I'll be back soon with some new craft inspiration. Bye!